guys, now I'm going to be doing my 36 to 38.5 week pregnancy update and introduce you to my beautiful daughter. So, I've already given birth. It's been quite a while actually. Now it has been 4 weeks since I've given birth. I really wanted to do this video when she was actually due, but it is like 3 weeks past that. 4 weeks past. No, 2 to 3 weeks past that. So that didn't happen because lazy me and also busy me and also distracted had other priorities in mind. But we will just go into it. I don't have notes. I normally have notes and outlines on my symptoms, but I didn't really write anything down. It was a very stressful time. And I didn't really want to think about it because I didn't want it to stress me out. But I will just go into it. Last you saw was my 35 weeks. I was at 2 centimeters dilated, so on to 36 weeks when I did end up going to my doctor's appointment. She didn't really say anything. She didn't check for anything. She basically checked the heartbeat and said that next week I would be checked, and I went for my checkups at exactly my week date, like the start of my week. And for that particular week, for my 37th week, their appointments were completely booked. I couldn't go on a Wednesday, which I would go on a Thursday, so they would put me all the way to Monday. That would put me at 37.5 weeks. By the time I was 37.5 weeks, I was 3 centimeters dilated. Between week 36 and 37 altogether, I had been having contractions on and off. I also did my maternity pictures, which is really nice because since I was 2 centimeters dilated at 35 weeks, I was afraid she was going to come really early and I wasn't going to have a chance to do my maternity pictures. I think we did them around 36 weeks, which I'm so happy for. They came out gorgeous. I'll go ahead and insert my favorite ones here. My cousin did that. Thank you so much. She always makes me feel really beautiful, and she just has a way with cameras. Anyways, I was having a lot of contractions at that time. She was really low. She would move and there would just be like a lot of discomfort down there. So for week 36 and 37, there was a lot of contractions going on, and as I said, they were really interesting to feel, but however, they were getting to the point where they were not getting interesting and more painful. So I dealt with that, and then I always thought there were nights where I'd have them and they'd be fairly consistent and getting stronger. And I thought I would think, this is it, this is when it's coming, and they just stopped. I never wanted to go in to the hospital and them send me home, so I really wanted to wait until I knew for sure that it was that, which is good because it never was. I would fall asleep and the next day was like there was no contractions to be seen at all. So at my 37-week appointment, I think I already mentioned I was at 3 centimeters dilated, so they went ahead and or my doctor went ahead and put an appointment for the next 4 days, which would be the Thursday, which would land me on my 38th week. And on my 38th week, I was 3 to 4 centimeters dilated. So she said the baby was beginning coming, and she didn't think I would make it to Monday, but I was going to go ahead and make an appointment for Monday. So my 38th week, I was just feeling a lot of pressure to be giving birth because the nurses didn't actually set me an appointment. They didn't think I would make it to my 38 or to Monday, so they didn't set me an appointment, and if I was still pregnant on Monday, I was just gonna call in and they would set an appointment, which is very stressful because Monday is the day my husband works and I'm not driving, as I had mentioned earlier, because of the pregnancy. He was gonna have to drive me, which is still kind of work, but there was just this tiny time frame where he could actually take me, and if I was to go into another time, he was not able to take me. So I was really stressed out. It was really weird because with my daughter, I believe at 36 weeks, my first daughter, my firstborn, I believe it was at my 36th week, my doctor had checked me and I was at 2 centimeters dilated, similar. And so she said, oh, you know, it may be coming anytime soon, you know, you may be coming anytime soon. And in my mind, I had specific time when she was going to come. I thought when doctors give you a due date, it would come not necessarily on that day, but close to that day. But then she said at my 36 weeks, and the date they had given me was like at my 41st week, and at 36 weeks they were like, oh, they could come anytime. So in my mind, I was thinking this baby's coming, thank God, because I am ready. And I went stir crazy for the next 4 weeks because there was no baby to be seen. I actually induced with my first daughter, and because of the stir crazy, and with my second daughter, and because of these reports and saying, oh, you're 2 centimeters out, oh, you're 3 to 4 centimeters out, I was trying so hard not to go stir crazy, so I tried to ignore it, but at the same time I felt the pressure of the doctor saying, or the nurses saying, just call. So it was just a weird feeling, but I didn't feel that I needed to get this baby out. My daughter, the water in the placenta, there was a massive amount. She was tiny, but my stomach was ginormous. With my second daughter, she didn't have all that much water, so I wasn't that huge. I could go on. I was having restless nights. It was getting tough, but it wasn't horrible. So it was just different, and I did feel the pressure of giving birth. So that's what I was feeling. Symptoms wise, at my 38th week, I got my heartburn back for some reason. I don't know why. I know that if you eat spicy foods or if you eat too much food, that is a symptom of heartburn. But another big factor is that the baby is up high. However, with these updates and her being 3 centimeters plus dilated, she had dropped. She was definitely down there, and I for some reason I had this sneaking suspicion that she had gone back up. And I was like, oh my goodness, my body's just playing tricks on me. Because of my first pregnancy, at my 40-week checkup, she said I was like 4 centimeters dilated and the baby was just super low. They had to try and find the heartbeat in a weird way. So later on, when I had gone to the hospital, they said, oh, you're still really high and you're only 2 centimeters dilated. I don't know. I'm not sure if it's possible for your body to retract the baby and close it up again, but I had a sneaking suspicion that that was the case. So when Monday did come along, I had this terrible feeling that they were going to tell me that she was up and I wasn't as dilated. But that was quite the opposite. She was really low, and she was like 4.5 centimeters dilated, and I was having a contraction while she was checking. So my doctor basically said, you're not going to make it past today. I didn't believe her because my body is super weird as it is. I wasn't even supposed to make it to that actual Monday, but here I was still pregnant Monday, and I told her, no, don't eat, like, I know it's not your fault, but like, that's just my body's weird. But guess what, Michael? I actually had the baby on Monday. So let me introduce you to my daughter. This is my baby. She is quite tiny stuff. I think she's around 7 pounds. She was born at 6 pounds 5 ounces, and she's been working her way back up, but she is small stuff. My daughter was small stuff as well, and I love it. I love having tiny babies. They still fit their newborn sizes. She's almost a month old. This Thursday she'll be a month old. She's already 4 weeks, and I have seriously seen her grow so big. She's got chunky cheeks. Can you say hi? And I've really seen her development go so well. She's already starting to hold up her head just a tiny bit, even for like 2 seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and dive into postpartum because I am 4 weeks postpartum. I'm not going to go into huge detail, but I did want to go into it just a tiny bit because up to 42 weeks or so is still part of your pregnancy. Postpartum with her has been a breeze. With my first daughter I did tear, and with her I did not. So the difference between tearing and not tearing has been tremendous. I actually did use a little girdle of some sort for my stomach. I did not with my first, and it took forever to my stomach to come back. I am overweight. I do have fat on my body and my stomach, and there's a ton of stretch marks, so it's not perfect. It's not like many of the other YouTube moms you see that have that perfect stomach with like 3 stretch marks. No, absolutely not. But it has made a huge difference from having it. And I believe if you look into my what I have in my diaper bag, you'll see what I'm actually using. It was super simple, nothing like with straps or anything, which I'm not sure would have been the difference, but those were around $50, and I was I mean, I was about to pay $50 to $60, but this was $25, and I thought I'd give it a bit of a chance, and if not, I would go with it. But I really did enjoy it. I'm no longer wearing it. Took it off around 3.5 weeks because I felt that it's just my uterus did go down, and the rest is just something I'm gonna have to work on with workouts and diet, and we're gonna see how that goes. I'm currently still slightly bleeding. It is coming out on a brownish note, which was I will see, because it has been red for the longest time, and it's not a consistent bleed either. It is only when I have a bowel movement, and sometimes just occasionally, but it's never like a consistent flow like a period. The period phase, or like, you know, when it was just consistently coming out, has been hard. My back has had a bit of a time recovering. For the first 2 weeks it was just awful, and the pain of having a needle in my back for the epidural, it was pretty sore. Apart from that, I didn't really have anything. There was a lot of fatigue in the first week and a half. I had to sleep a lot. The first couple of days I had a lot of people visiting, and I was, you know, the excitement of having the new baby and all of that. I didn't realize how tired I was until like the 3rd day, and I just wanted to pass out. But by that time I was back home and taking care of my daughter, and like 2 days later I got sick. I had a fever. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but it was just, are you boo-boos? I had boo-boos. I don't know what I had, but it was awful. I tried to stay away from medications. However, I did take a leave because it helped subside the fever, and I think it was a total of 3 to 4 days, which was just absolutely awful. So horrible to try and adjust to having 2 daughters and like barely getting into the mix of being a stay-at-home mom for 2. Let me think. I can't think of anything else. Breastfeeding has been fine. It was tough at first with my first pregnancy. I'm not sure if I ever mentioned, but with breastfeeding I had flat nipples, so that was a bit of a struggle. I did end up using a nipple shield with my daughter, my first daughter. And it helped to really pop it out. For the first 3 weeks, it was like 2.5 weeks, I was using a nipple shield, and it helped pop it out. And after that, I haven't needed to use it and had any issues with my daughter breastfeeding. I breastfed her for 20 months. When I was pregnant with her, she was still breastfeeding, and like a month later she stopped. With her, they were kind of popped out, but they kind of went back in, so she did have issues. And especially when you're, you know, barely getting your milk and you get engorged, and she just has a hard time finding the nipple, it's just been tough. And at first, like the first week and a half, I want to say, I tried strictly just using my nipple and trying to get her to find it, and struggling. But I went ahead and got out the nipple guard. It just helped her gain some weight, and it was like for 5 days, and that was about it. We are no longer using the nipple shield. She's gained just a good amount of weight. When we did go to her 2-week appointment, she was still under her birth weight. She was at 6'2". So then a week later we went back in to check how she's doing, and she was at 6'11". So now she must be 7 pounds or something. She's definitely gained a lot more weight, and she's definitely gotten a lot bigger. She wants to eat right now, so I have to cut things short. But yeah, that's all I have for my update, pregnancy update, postpartum update. Everything is going well. Most of the pregnancy, postpartum doctor's appointments end up being at the 6-week mark. Mine is at a 4-week mark, so I will be having that tomorrow. I do not know why, but we'll see how it goes. And I will also be doing a labor and delivery story, so definitely check that out, because that, my friends, is a whole different story. So you can check me out in any of those videos. She is now added to our little videos, and she's crying at the end, which is not good. And look at that, she's hungry. So we're gonna go, and you can check both of us out in our next video. See you then.